Good morning everyone, I'm Yusuf Mohammed and I'd like to welcome you all today to the second Tomorrow's Engineers Week Big Assembly. I'm excited to see that we have hundreds of schools in attendance and over 50,000 students taking part. I own my own engineering company which has developed a fire safety device, and I'm also one of the engineers who featured on the BBC's Big Life Fix. As a champion of the government's Engineering Take a Closer Look campaign, I know there's never been a better time to be an engineer. Engineering offers you a chance to improve the world. I've worked on all sorts of different things, from ambulances to fire safety devices, so you could work in a big company or you could start your own like I have. In a moment, you're going to see some other inspiring engineers. First, I'd like to introduce you to our host, Faye Dixon, at the Chase School in Great Malvern, Worcestershire.
Good morning and welcome to the second Tomorrow's Engineers Week, coming to you live. It's the big assembly coming from the Chase School in Malvern, Worcestershire. This is once again the biggest assembly to ever taken place. Now, we are here, of course, to welcome you with a very warm welcome. Just you, and also 50,000 plus students who are joining us across the UK from schools. And like I say, it is making this the biggest assembly that has ever taken place. Now, we're here to find out how engineering is a career where you can have a great career and make a difference in the world. So you can do that, of course, by just being part of today's Engineering Week. Now, if you would like to join us online, then you can do so. But before we got started, you may have noticed that there was an online quiz. So you can find out what type of engineer you could be. So we actually had a little go here in Malvern before we went live. So let's find out what type of engineers we have in the school. So can we do this by hands up, everyone? So if you were a future lifesaver, let's see your hands. A lot of people over here and here. And what about mechanical marvel? Loads. Cure creators, where are you? I was a cure creator as well. And also we have, let's see, anyone else? Civilization savers? Wonderful. And also Sea Crusaders. That's great. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay then, so for you guys at wherever you're watching, whether you are a student, your school, for everyone watching the big assembly online, we want to hear from you as well. And you can do so via the on-chat facility on your screen or the social media hashtag TE Week 19, so that you can ask a question about engineering careers. So, what are we waiting for? Let's start by taking a glimpse of the stars of this year's Tomorrow's Engineers Week.
I'm Hiba, I work at Mott MacDonald, and I'm an engineer on a mission to keep people safe and healthy by protecting their homes and environment.
My name is Rodri, and I'm an engineer on a mission to save lives at sea.
My name is Severin, and I'm an engineer on a mission to help people with dementia.
I'm Professor Rebecca Shipley, and I'm Director of the UCL Institute for Healthcare Engineering. I'm on a mission to find better ways of treating cancer.
I'm Ellen Harper, I'm a master's student who's currently working at Pool Pod, and I'm an engineer on a mission to get people swimming through inclusive design.
Wow, so inspiring, and so many cure creators in that film right there. Now, on the same topic as that, I'm now joined on stage by Nana Odem, who is an engineer working for the NHS. So Nana, I didn't even know that the NHS employed engineers. So I want to start by asking you, what do you do?
So I'm a clinical engineer in NHS. We have really diverse roles. So an engineer in NHS could work in designing medical equipment. My role is buying, fixing, maintaining medical equipment, but I also find solutions to clinicians' wishes. And ultimately, I ensure that equipment used in patient environments are safe to use for the right people, the right patients, and within that right environment.
Brilliant. Now, the students here at Chase School also have some questions, so let's see what they want to find out. Merlin Rainbow.
How do you help patients in the NHS?
That's a really interesting question. So I have worked with children with very complex physical and communication disabilities. So my role was to assess them to be able to access their environment. So it's about looking at which part of their body they have voluntary movements in, and then giving them a switch which they could use to access a computer. That computer then becomes their control, to be able to control their TV, their hi-fi systems, or within their classrooms to be able to join in with classroom activities by working directly on the whiteboards.
Excellent. And we have a question from Amberly Roberts.
What skills do you need most to do your job?
Clinical engineering within the hospital work across various multiple professions. So you could be working with the clinicians or doctors, nurses, right through to the facilities team or porters who move beds. So you have to have good communication skills. You also have to be able to focus on the task at hand, but also consider the wider picture that adds up into the organization strategy. So, and also being able to prioritize as well.
And we've got a quick online question. How did you get into the job?
Really interesting. So after my A-levels, I started off with physics. I stumbled across medical physics, and as a person, I'm very sociable, and I love to care for people, and I love networking. So I realized that, I could actually use physics to improve people's lives and also exert influence within the healthcare. So I went in to study biomedical engineering, and that's how I got into my role.
Excellent questions. Thank you so much. And just a reminder of how you can ask a question to our panel. You can do so by the chat facility on screen or the social media hashtag TEWeek19 to get involved in today's event and ask a question about how to become an engineer. So let's delve into the world of another engineer who's on a mission to make a difference in the world.
I'm Hiba, I work at McDonald, and I'm an engineer on a mission to keep people safe and healthy by protecting their homes and environments. So the project I think that means the most to me is the one that I'm still working on at the moment. It's a project in Bangladesh, and it's to combat river erosion. So at the moment in Bangladesh, 20% of the country floods every single year on average. They've got these huge rivers, they're like 16 kilometres wide, they can erode 900 metres of the year. That's like a whole village has just fallen into the river all of a sudden, which obviously is catastrophic for health. So our project aims to reduce that riverbank erosion by stopping it in certain places. The great thing about the project for people's health is that once you stop the water coming in and stop their houses flooding, you don't get as much standing water, which obviously is a breeding ground for mosquitoes, malaria and all sorts of diseases. Also, if the roads are there and permanent, they can always get medical supplies in and take people out who need help. So this is one of the things that we use a lot on site. It's called a geobag. So Bangladesh doesn't have many rocks, and normally you'd use rocks to stop riverbank erosion, but we have to make our own. We fill these with sand, we sit to the top, and we push them out of barges, and they fall in layers underwater to protect against erosion. Engineering makes me really happy. It was really important to me to feel like I'm part of something that's working towards the greater good, and I really feel like that in engineering. You can see what you've done at the end of the project, which is great.
Wow, a great video there from Hiba about how to protect people's health and well-being. And it wasn't just about healthcare, was it? I'm now joined on stage by Bryn and Matt. Bryn, you do similar work to Hiba, don't you? Can you tell us a little bit about that work?
Yes, so similar to the video there, I'm a civil engineer, and recently I've been working down in Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth is a coastal town on the south of England, and it has a very nice beach there. Well, that beach is being eroded every year by things such as climate change, raising sea levels. And what we've been doing is redesigning the groin systems there and reconstructing them to ensure that that beach remains there for future use, to ensure that all the public can continue to go down and enjoy the beach.
Beautiful. And for Matt, you took a different route to get your job in engineering. What is it that you do?
So I'm a biomedical engineer. I work at a company called Synthese, and we make hip and knee implants. So our main goal is to improve people's quality of life by helping them with their disabilities. So we replace any worn cartilage or anything like that.
And how did you get into your job?
So I knew that I wanted to be an engineer when I finished my A-levels, but I didn't really feel like I wanted to go to university. So I started to look around and I looked on government websites for apprenticeships, and I got a higher degree level apprenticeship at Synthese. So it's a way to get that higher education without being in full-time education. And it comes with a lot of advantages, so you can, it's more practical and hands-on, and you can apply the things you learn the day after you've learned it, pretty much. It's
Brilliant.
A good combination.
Excellent. Now we have some more questions from the students here. Fabian Sturman?
Which is the best route to become an engineer, a degree or an apprenticeship?
Well, I took the degree route, but I think there's merits to both, to be honest with you. So I went to university in Plymouth, and I did 4 years there and got my master's, and that has helped me develop on my route to chartership now. But sometimes I feel like I lacked maybe the on-site experience that you would get by going through an apprenticeship. So there's definitely benefits to each one.
Brilliant. And we've had a shout out. Love this. Hi, TE Week 19. Here's class 9EN4 at the Parker Academy in Daventry, enjoying and learning all about engineering. Brilliant stuff. Now, in a first for tomorrow's Engineers Week Big Assembly, we're going to go across live to Yewande Akinoa, who's at a school in Coventry. And when we get back, we can have a little look back at some of the questions that you want to ask. But right now, it's right over to you, Akinoa. Hello.
I'm Yewande Akinoa, and I use engineering to design and construct buildings for the built environment. So I can really relate to what the engineers there have been talking about. But I'm at Ernsford Grange Community Academy in Coventry. One of the hundreds of schools getting involved in the Big Bang Fair this year. And there's still time for you to get involved in the Big Bang competition to find out who the young engineer and young scientist of the year is. But I've been hanging out with year 9s and year 10s, and we've been talking about all the really cool things that you can do as an engineer. We've taken the Meet the Future You quiz, and the one character that's definitely been at the top of the list is the civilization saver. So I'm going to go off and speak to somebody here who got that as well, civilization saver. Sammy, what do you think about potentially becoming an engineer?
It's a great opportunity for any engineer, especially helping out with the environment and helping construct new things architecturally. It's going to help out with the problems that are here today.
Yes.
But then it will obviously upgrade what's here now.
Yeah, absolutely. So like cool stuff in the future as well, and saving the planet that we live on, right? Yeah, absolutely. Great. Fantastic. Right, so has anybody got any questions for me? Hey.
Do you think there's a lack of young engineers in today's society?
Do you know what? When I think about all the exciting work that needs to happen and all the necessary work that needs to happen, there's definitely not enough engineers to solve the problems, right? So we need people who are creative, we need people who are brave as well, we need people who care about society to design our future. Yeah, so definitely. Anybody else got any more questions? Yeah, you've got a question.
How would you see the future of engineering develop?
Oh gosh, you know what? I think we are literally living in like super exciting times. With technology right at the forefront, we're able to do things that we never imagined that we could do, right? And that is going to make our engineered solutions, so our buildings, how we move around, even like the potential of going into space as well, right? That's going to make our engineered world very exciting to live in. Great. So that's all we've got time for here at Ernsford Grange Community Academy. Over to you, Fayon, at the Chase in Malvern.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Yuande. Some great discussions happening there in Coventry. Now, as you can see, I'm joined back by Matt, Bryn and Nana, and also by Gemma Taylor from the National Centre for Computing in Engineering, in Education, and some new engineers as well. Let's hear what Natalie and Tiana do.
So I'm a civil engineer and I worked in the railways, so there's no point having trains if you don't have train stations. That's a big part of my job, to make sure that we are designing the structures associated with the railways. I'm also a member of the Women's Engineering Society to make sure that women in engineering are supported throughout their career. And now in my day job, I support other engineers to go out and speak to young people about all the fantastic things that they do.
Hi, I'm a biomedical engineer and I work in a lab called Aspire Create, Center for Rehabilitation and Assistive Technologies. And that's exactly what we do. We create new technologies and assistive devices for rehabilitation. And daily I meet clinicians, academics, students, pupils, patients in order to help this process of creating technologies for healthcare.
Thank you. And I'd just like to thank our sponsors and supporters of the big assembly. And you can see their logos just behind me. So it's now time for your questions. And just as a reminder, you can use the chat facility online or the social media hashtag TEWeek19 to find out about careers in engineering by asking us a question. Now, we are having a lot of questions asked, and if we don't get to your question in the next 15 minutes, then rest assured we have a team of experts behind the scenes who are beavering away answering your questions, and they will do so via social media. So we have another question from Jake Terrell.
How much does a typical engineer earn?
Okay, Bryn.
Well, as a graduate engineer, when you come out, typically you earn about £25,000, depending on the business size of it. And that will increase through your career, particularly if you become professionally qualified, if you become chartered or incorporated, your salary will increase. But I would just say there that engineering is a job role where you wake up every morning and you get to make a difference to society. There are a lot of jobs out there that you don't do that. I wake up every morning and I enjoy what I do. The salary comes second to me, or not even second, further down. You know, I enjoy my role, I make a difference for society.
Fantastic. What about you, Tiana?
A great question, thank you. I agree with my predecessor by saying it's not about the money at all, it's about satisfaction. And I must say, when I came to this country and to London, I was living on roughly about £1,000 per month, which was a struggle, but I so much enjoyed what I do. I so much enjoy engineering, designing, and everything else that comes along, that money really doesn't matter.
Thank you. And we've had a question online. How many different types of engineering jobs are there? Gemma?
Oh, that's a big question. Great question. So I'd say there are so many different types of engineering jobs. The way that we sort them all is to group them into things called sectors. So if you are looking at engineering as a future career, just make sure you explore lots of different sectors. So for example, automotive, manufacturing, biomedical, sports engineering. There's loads of different types, even within those sectors, of different engineers doing different roles.
Great stuff. And we have a question from Jacob Walker.
Do you have to have a degree to become an engineer?
Matt?
So I'd say you don't have to have a degree to become an engineer. There are many routes to becoming a fully qualified engineer. You can even start from doing an MVQ level 3 and work all the way up to other workplace qualifications that are equivalent to or above that of a degree, and you can still get chartered by the Institute of Mechanical Engineers or any other professional body.
Okay, Natalie.
So I actually came into engineering from doing a degree at university, but I wish someone had told me that I could have become an engineer by doing an apprenticeship. If I had found out about that earlier, I probably would have taken that route.
Absolutely. If I knew I could make shoes for a living as an engineer, that is what I would be doing, as simple as that. Now, we've had an online question. Is engineering for women hard to get into? And this is from Akbar. Akbar, thank you for your question. Can I ask Nana?
So I would say it's not difficult for women to get into engineering. That is why we have like women in science and engineering with skills for life, which are promoting role models. So there are a lot of engineers who are women like me. Girls, we started with girls like you. So it's not hard at all. It's about a commitment to that lifelong learning. It's about passion. It's about enjoying. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to make a difference in people's lives? That is what engineering is about. And yeah, so go for it.
Brilliant. And Gemma? Same question.
I pretty much think anyone can be an engineer if they have the aspiration to do it. So regardless of gender, regardless of background, regardless of what you do in your free time, what you enjoy, if you see a career on one of these videos, if you meet someone today, if you meet someone in your life and you think that's an amazing job, you can do it.
Brilliant. And we had a really great question online now. Who inspired you to become a scientist or engineer? And that's from Queensbury Academy. Thank you for that question. I'm going to go to you.
Thank you. That's a really amazing question. I must say, when I was deciding on university, I was straight on going to medical school, decided that's it. But then I scrolled and I saw a job title saying Biomedical Engineer, which is a combination of medicine and engineering. And I absolutely loved it because all of my skills that I love and enjoy are incorporated in those words. So that is exactly when I decided to completely shift my previous decision and go and become a biomedical engineer via School of Electrical Engineering. So can you imagine that? But I really enjoy what I do and I haven't made a mistake.
Lovely. And I've got to ask Bryn, same question.
Well, for me, it was my family, I think, more than anything. My mum was part of an all-female construction team in the 70s, and she actually met my dad through construction. So I think it was always in my blood. And then at school, I enjoyed maths and physics. You put the two together, you end up in civil engineering.
Brilliant. That's really great. And Thurizi Boy said, can I have your question?
Do you have to be good at maths and science to be an engineer?
Oh, Nana, field that one.
I would say no is the answer. Engineering is about being able to problem solve, and again, a commitment to learning. So I started off fixing equipment, but my role is evolved to manipulating data and making data-driven decisions to help support caring for patients. So it's that commitment to that life, and roles are going to evolve. So being numerate, yes, but you don't have to be good in maths.
Can I also ask Kiana?
Oh, yes. Great question. I really love it. I always loved my maths and science. My teachers can probably answer whether I was good at it or not, but it's not about being good at something. It's about your passion, what you love to do, and how can you explore those abilities. So as Nana said, problem solving, using logic, being creative, designing things. Does math and science are must be for those? No, just use whatever comes from your heart, and engineering is a great field to be at for those skills.
Oh, we've got so many questions coming in online. I've got another one. What is the most rewarding part of your job in the engineering sector? It's from Marty. Thanks, Marty. Going to go to Matt.
So, as part of my field, we have a direct impact on people's lives. So we produce solutions for their problems. And some of the most rewarding things is seeing a product that you've developed go out into the field and starting to get reports back of just how much of a difference it's making on people's lives. But that's very rewarding, and it's the most important part of why I do my job.
Yeah, and Nana, can I ask you the same question?
Yeah, I would say I'll use one scenario. So a child who had never engaged with anyone, had cerebral palsy, no speech. He was given a computer and he was able to answer yes or no. For me, that's very fulfilling to see that a child is being able to communicate in a different way. And these are all the other ways that, yeah,
That's great. I have a question online from Madison, and they're asking, what difficulties do you face in your job? Natalie, do you want to start?
I would say that engineer, something really amazing about it is that you work in a multidisciplinary field. So you work with all different sorts of people. And sometimes there can be challenges when it comes to sort of coordinating and making sure that you deliver the project together. But that's also one of my favourite things about engineering industry.
Wow. Okay. What about you, Bryn?
I think to follow on from that, the challenge, it's to go into work and be challenged, to think, problem solve, to have the opportunity to go in, think logically and tackle these challenging situations, which will ultimately improve the quality of life for society. What's more rewarding than that?
Brilliant. And another online question, this one is from Martin. What do you enjoy most in your career? What about you, Gemma?
In my career, well, the National Centre for Computing Education has been set up to support young people and schools and teachers to be more engaged with computing careers and computing education. So the bit about my job that I enjoy is seeing people do better in those subjects and seeing people want to go into those careers.
Brilliant. And an online question from a parent who says, I'm a parent watching and I want my child to be happy in work. Do engineers have a good life? What do you think, Matt?
I'd say engineers definitely have a really good kind of work-life balance. And as you've heard, it's a very rewarding career to be in. And if you're passionate about what you do and you get that reward back, then, yeah, you'll have a good life.
Yeah, great. What about you, Tiana?
I must advocate for academia right now because being in engineering in academia gives you a time flexibility that I personally enjoy. I'm not a morning person, and if I get up any earlier than 8 a.m., I won't work properly. So what I love about my work is that I have that time flexibility to do my work at the time I seem fit, but still deliver my goals on time. If it means 2 a.m., 2 a.m. If it means 10 a.m., 10 a.m., that's okay. But I very much love that.
Thank you. And we have another question from Conrad Thompson.
There are so many different types of engineering. How do I know which one I'd be best at?
Oh, that is a good question. Gemma?
Yeah, great question. I'd say that there are loads. So the best thing to do is just immerse yourself, do the research, watch the videos, listen to people talking, do the quizzes, just get out there and explore. What I would say is don't choose too early, because there's so much exciting stuff out there. I know when I was starting to be an engineer, I'm a mechanical engineer, and when I started, digital careers were growing, but now they're exploding. So I would say watch, read, listen, learn, speak to people, get out, and if you can, get into an industry that you're interested in just to see what it's like for yourself.
That's really great, thank you. And another online question. I've heard you can be a chartered engineer. What are the benefits of that? Oh, where do we want to go with that one? Natalie?
So like Bryn and Matt mentioned earlier, you can become professionally qualified as an engineer through many of the member organisations, some of which are sponsoring today's event. So you can become a chartered or incorporated engineer, and that's a very well-respected profession. So just like being a doctor or a lawyer, you also get letters after your name that are recognised all over the world. So I definitely recommend for young people to look into where they could go as a professionally qualified engineer.
Thank you. Another online question. What is the greatest achievement in your career so far? About you, Nana?
So I was fortunate to have been awarded a Women in Science and Engineering Fellow in 2018 by the Chief Scientific Office. There were 4 scientists within the NHS who were chosen across the whole country, and that provided a platform for me to improve on develop my leadership skills, but also provide a platform to inspire the next generation and to let them know that yes, these are opportunities for you. There are opportunities out there for you, and you can be who you are, just be yourself.
So very quickly, advice to your younger self. Let's start here with you, Matt. What would you tell your younger self?
Well, because younger me was very worried about how I was going to get to my career goal, so I'd just tell myself to be less worried and that there are plenty of different opportunities and different ways to becoming an engineer, and you can get there on your own terms.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, so as Marta said, I thought my career goal was a destination, but I've actually realized it's a journey, and therefore having that at the back of my head that I can achieve whatever I want to achieve, but it is a journey, and just make use of the opportunities that come my way, really.
Thank you.
I think try to make the most of work experience. Try to get placements as often as you can in summer or even during university, or work experience when you do it in year 10. It's because ultimately you will learn from that. If you enjoyed that subject, it might send you in a different direction to a different type of engineering that you hadn't considered before.
Good question. I think my advice for my younger self is the same as my advice for everyone here today. There are loads of opportunities out there, so choose the one that's right for you. Don't panic. Don't think I've got to choose the first thing that's offered to me or that's available. Make sure you do the research and choose the thing that really makes you get up in the morning.
I wish when I was younger I had been more confident to try new things and put myself out of my comfort zone, because that's how I really learned and found out what I wanted to do.
Thank you.
Keep strong and don't give up. Engineering might be a single word, but it's derived of so many opportunities. Find out what best fits you, and please become an engineer.
Wonderful. So there we have it. I can't believe it. Fastest 30 minutes of my life. We're done for another year. So I would just like to thank our panel for joining us today, and to Yuande, the students at Ernsford Grange Community Academy in Coventry. Of course, I'd like to thank you guys for watching us from wherever you were. And I'd like to thank the students and the staff from the Chase School in Malvern. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. And if you've not taken part in the Meet the Future You quiz, you still can. You can have a look at the internet. Just go to all the W's, tomorrowsengineersweek.org.uk/quiz. We, of course, did it already, and we've had some great results here. So just follow the social media hashtag TEWeek19. And if you're watching online, there are some inspirational films coming up. So do stay tuned to that, which we're featuring engineers who are on a mission to help improve health and well-being. And from me, whatever you decide to do next, I wish you all the best. And, one day, it could be you who is an engineer on a mission, making a difference in the world. Thanks a lot. Bye.